Good morning, brothers and sisters. Today is the 29th day of the 5th month of the 8th year of Chenalgut, July 19, 2020. To prepare this spiritual atmosphere of the Sunday service, let us all sing song number 2, Grace of the Holy Garden.
As I go in praise, knowing that man will behold. Glorious the song ringing in my heart for my Father above. Gratefully I give offering to Him, triumph and glorious love. Oh, limitless eternal light, touching the top of the sky. Filling every part of me, blessing that never will die. Glorious the song ringing in my heart for my Father above. Gratefully I give offering to Him, triumph and glorious love. You've chosen me to do Your will, thankful I vow to be true. I'm pledging in my heart of hearts, Father, my life is for You. Glorious the song ringing in my heart for my Father above. Gratefully I give offering to Him, triumph and glorious love.
Thank you so much for singing along with us. It is indeed a beautiful and glorious Sunday. Now, to prepare our hearts and minds for this Sunday, let us meditate from the words of our true parents. Words of meditation. What should we do to find our lost self? We must remember God's heart when He lost His children. Otherwise, we cannot find our original self. We need to return to where we were in order to find what we lost. Likewise, to find our lost self, we must rediscover the heart of God had when He lost us. Unless we initiate this movement, we cannot find our true original self. These are the words from our founder. To officially start, let us all stand and sing the Chenalgut anthem.
남발하도다
us with a recitation of the Family Pledge, let us welcome our Sub-Regional Director for Southeast Asia, Dr. Julius B. Malikdem.
Good morning, my dear brothers and sisters. As we begin our Sunday family service, let us first offer and greet our Heavenly Parents and true parents. Today is 29th day of the 5th month in the 8th year of Chonelguk. 천진 참부모님께 경배. 바로. Let us recite together Family Pledge number 8. Our family, the owner of Chonelguk, pledges as having entered the era of Chonelguk to achieve the ideal of Heavenly Parent and human beings united in love through absolute faith, absolute love, and absolute obedience, and to perfect the realm of liberation and complete freedom in the kingdom of Heavenly Parent on earth and in heaven by centering on true love. Meaning of Family Pledge number 8. What promise is being fulfilled in the completed Testament age? It is the promise that Heavenly Parent made to human beings at the time of creation. It means that Heavenly Parent is giving the blessing to humankind. Heavenly Parent created with absolute faith, absolute love, and absolute obedience, and aspired toward the ideal unified world of absolute love. Thus, we should also inevitably practice absolute faith, absolute love, and absolute obedience in order to earn the right to be partners with Heavenly Parent. Heavenly Parent's purpose of creation, human beings are the only object partners who wear the substantial body of Heavenly Parent. They are born as the visible body before the invisible Heavenly Parent. When human beings reach perfection, they become Heavenly Parent's temples. Now, we have reached in the realm of liberation, even in the spirit world. The springtime of the kingdom of heaven and earth is approaching. The spring that can resurrect new lives is coming to earth. So a peaceful era will come to earth.
Thank you very much, Dr. Malikdem. For opening prayer, may I call on Mrs. Teresia Maria Kitel.
Good morning. Please join me in prayer. Our loving Heavenly Parent and true parents of heaven, earth, and all humankind. Heavenly Parent, thank you for this Sunday and that we can join in this Sunday service with brothers and sisters from the Philippines and all over the world. We are grateful, Heavenly Parent, that we are connected through you and our true parents. And Heavenly Parent, we are so sorry that we are ignorant and we have a artistic distance from you, Heavenly Parent. Heavenly Parent, thank you that you have been working for thousands and years, for days and nights, without ceasing to raise us up, each one in an individual way, Heavenly Parent. Thank you, Heavenly Parent, for Dr. Young, who is investing all his heart in raising us up by doing hunduke with us every day, Heavenly Parent, explaining about true parents' words very deeply, how longing, Heavenly Parent, you have a heart, and how, Heavenly Parent, how longing your heart is, and how we also can develop a longing heart, Heavenly Parent, especially, Heavenly Parent, when we go through suffering and serious situations, Heavenly Parent. Heavenly Parent, and how to become grateful and how to become zero before you, Heavenly Parent. Thank you, Heavenly Parent, for our true Mother, who allowed us to launch the Heavenly Parent's Holy Community and who will be speaking at the Valley of Hope on August 9. Heavenly Parent, we thank you for your guidance with all the preparations for the Valley of Hope, so that millions of people all over the world can be impacted by our true Mother's speech and by our brothers and sisters' efforts, Heavenly Parent. We are grateful, Heavenly Parent, that our true Mother is leading us in creating a holy community under you. And we trust that this will lead to the speedy and peaceful reunification of North and South Korea. Heavenly Parent, our brothers and sisters are offering special terms and conditions with our true Mother every day for the reunification of North and South Korea. And we pray, Heavenly Parent, for our true Mother's protection and guidance and good health and long life, and all our brothers and sisters who are working with her in headquarters in Korea and all over the world. We pray, Heavenly Parent, that also we can register successfully for the John Boy Award, Heavenly Parent, this weekend. And Heavenly Parent, please open our hearts and minds to receive your sermon from our elder brother, Dr. Julius Malikdem, that with his message about the holy community that we are building. Heavenly Parent, we are eternally grateful to you for all your blessings and all your love and guidance. We thank you and report this gratefully in Teresia Kittle's name of the Robert and Teresia Kittle Blessed Central Family of John Ilguk. Adieu.
Thank you for that moving prayer, Mrs. Kittle. At this moment, let us listen to our scriptural reading to be led by Dr. Rahim Mirshahi.
Good morning, brothers and sisters. Happy Sunday to everybody. Today's scriptural reading is from Chung Sung Young, Book 1, God. Chapter 3, God the Creator. Section 3, God created with love. What God needs absolutely? What is it that God likes the most? What do human beings like the most? The answer is true love. No one can dispute that. It is written in the Bible, "For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that everyone who believes in him should not perish but have eternal life." So what does God likes the most? It is love. God's wish was and is to bind together all humanity as brothers and sisters and have them become sons and daughters of filial piety, who are fully devoted to him. That is why in the Bible, the first commandment that we as human beings should follow is, "You shall love the Lord your God with all your heart and with all your soul and with all your mind." Again, what does God like the most? It is not money, knowledge, or power. It is love. The first commandment is to love God with all your heart and soul and mind, and with all your strength. The second commandment is to love your neighbor as yourself. Even God the Creator, who is the Lord and the ruler of all things in heaven and on earth, absolutely needs love. He absolutely needs true love. And when he has it, he will not give it up for the whole universe. But where can he find this love? God cannot find it in himself. Even if he possesses it in his heart, as long as he is a solitary being, he cannot find it. Then where does love come from? It does not come from oneself, but from one's partner. If we have no partner, we cannot find love. In order to find love, we need to live for the sake of our partner. Without living for the sake of others, there is no way to find the path of love. Adieu.
At this moment, we will be hearing news and updates from our international headquarters through HJ Global News.
Greetings to all of you. This is the HJ Global News, bringing you hopeful news of Chonilguk. As the coronavirus pandemic continues, floods caused by torrential rains and other natural disasters are affecting various parts of the world. We pray that you and your families will continue to be safe and enjoy good health under Heavenly Parents' protection and love. With the purpose of providing encouragement to members worldwide, Peace TV will air 7 special regional segments over the course of 7 weeks, through which we will reflect on significant moments during the course to Vision 2020 and can thus prepare ourselves for success on the way to 2027. The region featured in this first segment is Heavenly Korea. Let's watch some good news from around Korea, where the brothers and sisters are working toward the settlement of a God-centered and united Korea in the name of Heavenly Parents' Holy Community. The nation of freedom and peace planned by heaven on the foundation of Christianity. However, the Christian people's path included the tragic confrontation between the ideologies of human-centered communism and of free democracy. Heaven prepared for them the feast of the Lamb that was prophesied in the Bible. Upon the advent of the true parents according to the ideal of creation, our members willingly went out to pioneer even the toughest localities. Thanks to their devout faith and passion, churches have taken root as heaven's holy of holies, and heavenly tribal messiahs have settled in all parts of Korea. The day of the settlement of a God-centered and united world is coming closer. To fulfill the mission of heavenly tribal messiahs as Father requested prior to his ascension, during this past 7 years, members in Korea have devoted their energy to national restoration through heavenly tribal messiah activities. Striving to recover the spirit of the early days, leaders and members of Heavenly Korea organized blessing ceremonies that led to the victory of 8,752 Heavenly Tribal Messiah couples by Foundation Day 2020. Moreover, they have begun 5,077 Hundok family churches in 3,477 locations in their grassroots outreach, seeking to bring about the settlement of home churches through Heavenly Tribal Messiahs. They have continued to expand the foundation to support the settlement of Hundok family churches in local communities. With the command to push on to achieve national restoration, the 5 districts of Heavenly Korea successfully held rallies of hope in each district. In proposing fundamental solutions to Korea's problems, True Mother enabled the rallies to exemplify the righteous spirit of the Family Federation that should create the spirit of the times. What is more, with the active support of local governments, leaders of every field and peace-loving citizens, more than 7,000 rallies of hope were held in villages, townships, counties and cities, and these have reached some 660,000 Korean citizens. In addition, Heavenly Family Federation Korea has continued to work with 11 different UPF-related organizations to create the environment for witnessing. UPF has carried out the education of more than 12,000 ambassadors for peace and appointed more than 8,000 new peace ambassadors to catch the hearts of the leaders of local communities. Furthermore, UPF has appointed members of the Preparatory Committee for 1 Million Citizens for Unification to promote Korea as a host of a 5th UN office and to carry out the Peace Road Project for Unification, thereby potentially leading the peace agenda on the Korean Peninsula. Moreover, on the foundation of True Parents' interreligious and interdenominational work and the Interreligious Association for Peace and Development, connections were made with many influential Christian leaders. This led to the founding of the Korean Clergy Leadership Conference, a historic event that reached out to the Christian Foundation. At the same time, the 5 districts of Korea have continued to carry out various projects for peace and unification suited to each district. and these activities have been broadcast through some 50 media agencies that actively support the Family Federation, on the foundation created by the International Media Association for Peace. Korean Top Gun Youth began with the goal of training 1,000 leaders, yet has exceeded the expected number with a total of 1,300 participants. Meanwhile, the International Association of Youth and Students for Peace has received the Minister of Unification Award for carrying out peace designer projects and the UN's Sustainable Development Goals movement, which are campaigns that effectively practice the teachings of true parents in society. The era of Heavenly Parents' Holy Community opened through the victory of Vision 2020. The unprecedented pandemic crisis has plunged the global community into fear and chaos, but Heavenly Family Federation Korea has continued to support a population facing restrictions and isolation through practicing true love. Working together with UPF, it has formed working relationships with private organizations to carry out local disinfection, provide relief aid and donations, thus expanding creative practical activities to make this time of crisis into one of opportunity. There is prompt production and distribution of online material for Sunday service, devotions and mission work, and an application has been created for the settlement of Hundok family churches. They have opened a website for the campaign to distribute 600,000 copies of True Mother's memoir throughout Korea and opened diverse YouTube channels for outreach work.
신한국 가정연합은 비전 2027 대승리를 위해서 승리하신 천진 참부모님을 모시고 절대신앙, 절대사랑, 절대복종으로 하나만 된다면 이루지 못할 것이 없다는 신념으로 용진할 것입니다. 그리고 하늘 부모님 성의 큰 우산 아래 내적으로는 정심원을 중심하고 영계를 동원하여 신종종 메시아, 천보 가정들의 실체적인 가정교회 기반을 확대할 것입니다. 또한 외적으로는 섭리기관과 연대하여 반드시 2년 안에 국가 복귀했다는 실적을 세우고 비전 2027 대승리를 이루어 드리겠습니다. 하늘 부모님께서 박수를 치며 기뻐하실 수 있는 그날을 향해 복생녀 참 어머님을 실체로 모시고 하나로 정렬되어 한 마음 한 뜻으로 중단 없이 전진할 것입니다.
The nation of freedom and peace planned by heaven upon the advent of true parents in keeping with the ideal of creation. We will bring to settlement the eternal age of the heavenly unified Korea. The age of distance interaction brought about by the coronavirus crisis. Wonmo Pyounghae Scholarship has implemented a distance educational program in order to continue communicating with its scholarship students. Wonmo Pyounghae Scholarship has held 20 online meetings with 140 or so scholarship students in Korea and abroad in the first half of 2020 to bridge the gap between hearts and to provide a chance for them to seek guidance and answers to questions and concerns. The program for studying English abroad, provided for children of multicultural families, has been substituted by a video conference course. More than 80 middle school, high school or college student-aged children from multicultural families have been chosen to take part. Heavenly Korea's International Association of Youth and Students for Peace, which is carrying out an online donation campaign to improve the relationship between Korea and Japan and overcome the coronavirus, sent 30,000 masks to socially disadvantaged people in Japan. In this way, IAYSP made it known that the dignity of life is humankind's universally shared value transcending nations. It is paving the way toward peace between Korea and Japan by continuing to carry out private exchanges, encouraging the participation of the Korean community and conveying inspirational messages to the Japanese community. IAYSP in Peru hosted the 2020 Hyojong International Online Dance Festival with the purpose of realizing peace through the culture of heart and the arts. The festival presented performances from 50 teams from 20 nations, and 3,200 people participated, including 170 people connected through the Witnessing Outreach program. oikos, and social networking. The participants strengthened their relationships of heart through the culture of heart transcending nationality and language. The World Tongil Mudo organization held the Bonn competition, which drew 150 or so competitors from 14 nations to this non-contact online competition. In order to prevent the spread of coronavirus, it implemented creative ideas, adjusting the rules and methods of hosting an international competition. Members of Tongil Mudo shared the joy of growth and communication through the competition, and once again reminded themselves of the motto true parents had bestowed, Chung-hyo Jido Mansung Jiwon, which means that loyalty and filial piety are the basis whereupon all victories can be achieved. IAYSP in Australia held a winter workshop for blessed children. At the workshop, on the theme of reconnecting with Heavenly Parent through filial piety, the participants were able to realize that they can form an eternal connection with Heavenly Parent in their heart. Discovering the values of the eternal world and the blessing, they wished to become children of filial devotion. In Benin, West Africa, 2-day and 7-day workshops were held for 60 or so new members who received the Heavenly Tribal Messiah blessing last month. Through the Q&A session, where diverse conversations were held based on principles of life and the true family education, new members were able to once again remind themselves of the value of the blessing. They congratulated 12 couples who had made a new beginning through the Heavenly Tribal Messiah blessing ceremony. The Korea Religions Association held its 2020 denominational working group meeting with 15 leaders from Christianity, Buddhism, Chondogyo, Daejongyo and Sueungyo, among others. The denominational leaders held discussions on projects for the second half of the year, including distance religious education, and agreed that they should focus on healing people suffering from stress and depression caused by the coronavirus. Following True Parents' proclamation of the Heavenly Parents Holy Community, the international headquarters hosted Heavenly Parents Holy Community Chonilguk leaders meetings for the settlement of a heavenly unified Korea on 15 separate occasions. The Chonilguk leaders shared their opinions without reserve. Present were members of the 36 couples, the Korean Family Federation leaders, UPF Korea chapter leaders, leaders from Heavenly Japan and Chonilguk special emissaries, among others. They made the joint resolution to achieve the victory of Vision 2027 by sharing practical strategies and the vision of each providential organization for the realization of a heavenly unified Korea. In Heavenly Japan, the first workshop for newly appointed church leaders was held for 33 new church leaders. The workshop was to help the participants come to understand the essence of the Family Federation and to train church leaders to show overall capability and creativity. Even though they were busy with their own duties, leaders, staff members and elders from every field mobilized to teach the participants with dedication, and the participants set out for their respective mission locations after their impassioned heart and resolution to realize heaven's will were aroused. In Heavenly Korea, the dedication ceremony of Chongno Family Church in the Western District of Seoul was held, attended by Heavenly Korea leaders and 200 guests. The members who put in much devotion and effort to make this dedication ceremony possible expressed their gratitude for the grace and blessings bestowed by heaven, and made a firm resolution to write the new amazing history of the victorious settlement of a God-centered and united world. In Heavenly USA, True Parents' peace messages decorated the main street of Las Vegas. True Parents' messages of love, forgiveness and harmony are conveying the values of our Heavenly Parents' holy community and the love of the Mother of Peace for the United States.
And in the time of social injustice, I just want to congratulate Mother Moon for getting out her memoirs. She truly is the Mother of Peace.
The era of the Heavenly Parents' Holy Community is a blessing bestowed through the victory of Vision 2020. This is the time in history when our Heavenly Parent can be more fully revealed and will embrace all people in healing love. It is our chance also to become loving, blessed central families that share God's joy and goodness with others at this special time. This concludes this week's HJ Global News. Thank you for joining us, and may God bless you and your loved ones this weekend.
For our offering song, let us welcome our brothers, Herwin Kalinawan and Emmanuel Gilio.
Good morning, brothers and sisters. Happy Sunday to all, and I am Eman.
And I'm Herwin.
So together we will be offering a song entitled The Untold Heart of God. This is our own composition, and we hope that you will like it. Okay. Gathers and rain as the thought of Him scattered glories. We pray as He was to save us. He has suffered, and through all history, an ending indemnity, and no one knows the heart of God. No one knows how to comfort Him. Looking in His children in misery, there's no greater suffering than this. God has been endlessly shedding His tears, and God has been endlessly longing with tears, and God has been endlessly trying to save us because of love. Oh, God is in sorrow because of human fall. He wants to separate Satan and ourselves. No one can comfort Him, and through all history, an ending indemnity, and no one knows the heart of God. No one knows how to comfort Him. Looking in His children in misery, there's no greater suffering than this. God has been endlessly shedding His tears. God has been endlessly longing with tears, and God has been endlessly trying to save us because of love. Oh, God's been endlessly shedding His tears, and God has been endlessly longing with tears, and God has been endlessly trying to save us because of you so much, brothers and sisters.
Thank you very much for that meaningful song. Brothers and sisters, dear blessed families and members, at this juncture, I hope we are all now ready to receive inspiration and guidance for our Sunday service sermon. Now let us all welcome our Sub-Regional Director for Southeast Asia, no other than Dr. Julius B. Maliktim.
Good morning, my dear brothers and sisters. How are you today? Kumusta po kayong lahat? I'm so grateful that you can join us again in this online Sunday family service. May the love and the blessing of our heavenly parents and true parents be with you all. Bago tayo magsimula, may I ask everyone to please reach out to your brothers and sisters, to your family members, to your loved ones who are close by, and then express your love and gratitude to them. Thank you very much. 감사합니다. Thank you. This Sunday, I would like to share with you a message entitled, The Holy Community That We Are Building Together. The Holy Community that we are building together. But before that, I would like to start with a parable, with a story of a traveler who went to a foreign land. And then while he is going around, he saw 3 workers or 3 laborers. Actually, they are bricklayers. And so he asked, the first man that he saw was carrying bricks. Ang tanong niya, tinanong niya yung mama, sabi niya, what are you doing? Anong ginagawa po ninyo? At ang sagot, of course, nung worker, sabi niya, I am carrying bricks. May dala-dala akong mga bricks. Pagkalipas ng ilang minuto, mayroong isa na namang worker na dumaan, at ganun din, may dala-dala rin siyang bricks. He is also carrying bricks. And this traveler, he also again asked this man, he said, what are you doing? And then this time, this man said, I am building a wall. Ako ay gumagawa ng pader. And then a few minutes later, another man, the same, also carrying bricks, at tinanong siya nung traveler, at ang sabi niya, what are you doing? Ano pong ginagawa ninyo? Alam po ninyo kung anong sagot nitong worker na to? Bagamat pareho rin ang kanyang daladala. He is also carrying bricks, but with a beaming smile, he answered, we are building a palace. They are all doing the same thing. Pareho lang po ang kanilang ginagawa. Pero pwede nating tignan ng ganito. The first man has a job. The second man has a career. But the third man has a calling. My dear brothers and sisters, let us reflect on this. We always have to see the big picture of what we are trying to accomplish in the providence. Aju? Let me share with you from the book of Revelations, chapter 21, verse 1 to 3. Then I saw a new heaven and a new earth, for the first heaven and the first earth had passed away, and there was no longer any sea. I saw the holy city, the new Jerusalem, coming down out of heaven from God, prepared as a bride beautifully dressed for her husband. And I heard a loud voice from the throne saying, look, God's dwelling place is now among the people, and he will dwell with them. They will be his people, and God himself will be with them and be their God. What is being foretold in the book of Revelation? That God will finally be dwelling with his people, with his children. Finally, God will stand as humankind's eternal Heavenly Parent. At nakita ko ang isang bagong langit at bagong lupa, na ang tahanang ng Diyos ay nasa mga tao at ang Diyos ay maninirahan sa kanila at siya ay magiging Diyos nila. It's so beautiful. You know, my dear brothers and sisters, this revelation is finally being brought into reality, into substantiation. Last May 8, 2020, during the special gathering to declare True Parents, to celebrate True Parents' 60th Holy Wedding Anniversary, our beloved True Mother, carrying the foundation of 6,000 years of restorational history, have finally proclaimed the advent of the Heavenly Parents' Holy Community. The beginning of the Heavenly Parents' Holy Community. True Mother said, even though Heavenly Parent is the true owner of heaven and earth, He could never stand in that position. Over 6,000 long years, Heavenly Parent had to endure and wait patiently, looking for the human beings who would understand His will. Also, Mother said, heaven can no longer wait. While I am alive on this earth, all of humanity needs to live a harmonious life through attending Heavenly Parents. I have come to the conclusion this providence can no longer be delayed. Hindi na po makapaghintay ang Panginoong Diyos. The providence can no longer be delayed. So the question, my dear brothers and sisters, now the True Mother has declared the beginning, the advent of the Heavenly Parents' Holy Community. Then how do we build? How do we expand God's heavenly community? Actually, it's so important to reflect and to ask these questions. What shall we do? And I would like to share with you one story in the Bible. You know, when God gave us direction to fulfill, sometimes He will give us seemingly impossible tasks. Do you know what happened to Moses? Do you know how difficult the mission that was given to Moses was? We can read in Exodus that God gave a seemingly impossible task to Moses. In Exodus, the Lord said, I have indeed seen the misery of my people in Egypt. I have heard them crying out, and I am concerned about their suffering. So I have come down to rescue them, to deliver them from the land of the Egyptians. And I will bring them to a land flowing with milk and honey. Looks like very simple. But for Moses, nung pinagsabihan si Moises ng Panginoong Diyos, sa palagay ninyo, siya ba ay natuwa, nagalak, siya ba ay excited na gawin ang pinagagawa ng Diyos sa kanya? Moses was so terrified. Isn't it that Moses actually ran away, escaped from Egypt, so that he will not be killed by the Pharaoh? And then now suddenly, God called him when he went up to the Mount Horeb. And then he heard a voice. He heard God's voice. And he saw the flaming bush. At sinabihan siya ng misyon upang iligtas ang mga Israelitas, ang mga chosen people out of Egypt. For him, it's not an easy task. Isn't it that when God sent Moses back to Egypt to liberate his people from slavery, Moses was scared. We can read that in Exodus chapter 3, verse 11 to 12. But Moses said to God, who am I that I should go to Pharaoh and bring the Israelites out of Egypt? Sino ako? Sino ako? Anong kakayahan ko? Why me? Bakit ako? Baka pwedeng iba na lang. And so God encouraged him. God encouraged him in this way. God said, I will be with you, and this will be the sign to you that it is I who have sent you. Anong ibig sabihin po nito? Binigyan si Moises ng 3 palatandaan. 3 signs. So that when he will show these signs to the people, these miracles to the people, they will believe that God, the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, the God of Jacob, is truly with Moses. So that is why I am relating this, brothers and sisters. When we are told to build Heavenly Parents Holy Community, we might think, do we have foundation? Are we capable? God already gave us 3 signs. God gave us already 3 miracles that will guide us in order to build and expand Heavenly Parents Holy Community. Do you want to know what these 3 signs, these 3 miracles are? We can continue with the story of Moses. The first miracle given to Moses in Exodus chapter 4, verse 2 to 4, and I would like to read. Then the Lord said to him, "What is that in your hand?" "A staff," he replied. The Lord said, "Throw it on the ground." Moses threw it on the ground, and it became a snake, and he ran from it. Then the Lord said to him, "Reach out your hand and take it by the tail." So Moses reached out and took hold of the snake, and it turned back into a staff in his hand. Sinabihan siya ng Panginoong Diyos, "Itapon mo ang iyong tungkod." At pagkatapon niya ng kanyang tungkod, ito ay naging ahas. Nagulat si Moises. Sinabihan siya ng Diyos, "Iunat mo ang iyong kamay at hawakan mo sa buntot." Pagkahawak niya, ito ay bumalik sa pagiging tungkod. Napakaklaro po ang explanation about this first sign. We can read that from the divine principle. Chapter 2, Moses and Jesus in the providence of restoration. I would like to read that part of the divine principle. First sign or miracle. When Aaron cast down his staff before the Pharaoh at Moses' command, it became a serpent. Then the Pharaoh summoned his magicians and had them cast down their staff, which also became serpents. But Aaron's serpent devoured their serpents. Kinain yung mga ahas na nanggaling doon sa mga magicians from Egypt. This sign symbolically foreshadowed that Jesus would come as the Savior and destroy the satanic world. So in a sense, this first sign actually talks about Moses' staff, which symbolically represents the Messiah. We can read further in the divine principle. Moreover, a staff provides protection and support for people to lean on. It smites injustice and leads people on the right path, symbolizing Jesus. Moses' staff disclosed the missions which Jesus was to accomplish at His coming. So pag-aralan natin, ano ba ang ibig sabihin? Significance nung staff, nung tungkod na ginamit ni Moses. What is the significance of the staff? First, the staff, through the staff, you can support. It is a support for people to lean on. Secondly, it provides protection. Third, it smites injustice. Fourth, it leads people to the straight path. So what does the staff signify? It is a symbol and it signifies the Messiah. In fact, not only the Messiah, it signifies the mission of the Messiah as a true parents. So when we think of this, so the staff represents true parents, but actually not only that, we are also extensions of true parents. So therefore, this staff is also a symbol of our mission as heavenly tribal messiahs. So that is why support for people to lean on. That means tribal messiah mission is to support the people. People have to rely on us. Marami po ang pwedeng matulungan if we fulfill our mission as tribal messiah. Secondly, we need to provide protection. Who will protect the tribe? Who will protect the community? Who will protect the people and the nation? We should be the one protecting the people. We are like shepherds, and we are doing this mission in behalf of true parents, in behalf of the Messiah. Thirdly, it smites injustice. How do we smite injustice? It is through the power of God's words. When we educate people with God's words, and then they will know what is right and what is wrong. And this will basically smite injustice. This will lead people on the right path, just like a shepherd leading the flock of sheep to the right place where they can eat, where they are protected. So when we examine further, when the staff became a serpent, what is the meaning of the serpent? Divine Principle says the serpent is a symbol of God's words. Be wise as the serpents. In Matthew chapter 10, verse 16, I am sending you out like a sheep among the wolves. So therefore, be wise as the serpents and as innocent as the doves. Be wise as the serpents. Evil serpent cunningly tempted the first human ancestors. And then third, Jesus came as the good serpent of wisdom who entices and leads fallen people on the path of goodness. Anong ibig sabihin nito? Heavenly wisdom comes from understanding God's words. His disciples were to learn Jesus' wisdom and guide the sinful people in the way of goodness. It means, brothers and sisters, we need to become serpent. What kind of serpent? We need to become heavenly serpent through the power of God's words. So the first sign, the first miracle, we can say that the heavenly serpent have to swallow up and destroy Satan, just like the snake that come from Aaron's staff that swallowed the other snakes. Heavenly serpent have to swallow up and destroy Satan, the evil serpent. Therefore, wherever you go, you need to declare God's word with absolute faith, absolute love, and absolute obedience. So using God's words, we can swallow, we can defeat, we can overcome evil. So therefore, brothers and sisters, what is the first sign? What is the first miracle? It is the miracle of God's words. We need to bring about the miracle of God's words. So how do we build a holy community? By becoming a champion of the first miracle, by becoming a champion of God's words. First, we need to love the tradition of hundokhe. We need to do a lot of hundok. We need to be crazy for God's words. Like always thirsty. Secondly, we need to meditate a lot on God's words. Not only reading, but meditating. Nakakita na ba kayo ng baka na ngumunguyan ng damo? Enjoy na enjoy. When a cow is eating grass. This is actually like meditating. Hindi siya nabobore doon sa kinakain niya. Do you know that cows have 4 stomachs? So they have the ability to reserve some of those grass. And then when they are doing nothing, when they are lying down, they can just bring it out again, and chew again, and then swallow again, bring it out again, and then chew again. This is like meditation, meditating on God's words again and again and again. You don't get bored, you don't get tired of reading God's words. We need to breathe God's words into our soul. You know, when God made the first man, Adam, what did he do? From the dust, he formed man. And then, after that, what did God do? He breathed. And man became a living soul. So when we breathe, this is like giving spirit. This is like life elements coming into our soul. And so we can, through God's words, we can be alive. We can be revived. We can be stimulated. Also, we need to proclaim God's words, truth, and proclaim our true parents. You know, there are so many people who are thirsty. They are longing to hear God's words. If we don't multiply God's words, we become stagnant. Just like a water, when it stops to flow, then it becomes spoiled. It becomes dead. Divine principle, we have to feel. Divine principle is a breaking news. It is the way, the truth, the life, the love, and absolute sex. All of this we have inherited from our beloved true parents. This is the way of building the holy community by becoming a champion of the first miracle to become a champion of the miracle of God's words. Now, let us go to the second sign. Ano ang ibig sabihin ng pangalawang palatandaan? The second miracle. We can read that in Exodus chapter 4, verse 6 to 7. Then the Lord said, "Put your hand inside your cloak." So Moses put his hand in his cloak. And when he took it out, the skin was leprous. It had become as white as snow. "Now, put it back into your cloak," he said. So Moses put his hand back into his cloak, and when he took it out, it was restored like the rest of his flesh. What does this second sign symbolize? We can read in the divine principle about the second sign. When Moses, upon God's command, put his hand into his bosom, it became leprous. Then God commanded him to put his hand into the bosom again, and it was healed. Sinabihan siya ng Panginoon, ilagay mo ang iyong kamay sa iyong sinapupunan. At ito ay nagkaketong. At sinabihan siya, no? Sinabihan siya ng Panginoong Diyos, ilagay mo ulit sa iyong sinapupunan, at ang nangyari, ito ay bumalik kagaya ng dati. The first time Moses put his hand into his bosom and it became leprous, symbolized the archangel embracing Eve to his bosom, an act which tainted humanity with incurable sin. Brothers and sisters, incurable sin. I'm sure you already know what does this means. Incurable sin means original sin. Chapter 2 sin, the fall of Adam and Eve. Nobody, no one can easily remove this original sin. Only through the Messiah that this sin can be healed. Only the Messiah can heal and bring solution. So, let us go further. What is the second sign? Ano itong pangalawang palatandaan? The second time Moses put his hand into his bosom and it was healed, foreshadowed that Jesus, the second Adam, would come and restore his bride, second Eve, later manifested in the Holy Spirit. And that, take note, brothers and sisters, and that they would embrace humanity to give them rebirth. To give them rebirth. So that is why the second sign means to perform the work of salvation. And what is the way of salvation? What is the way of restoration? It is through the miracle of the blessing. How amazing. That's why we have to bring about the miracle of the blessing. Aju, this is the second sign. So we can build the holy community by becoming a champion of the second miracle, of the second sign. This is the miracle of the blessing. We need to fully understand the value of the blessing, the meaning of the blessing. That is why our true parents are so serious when it comes to blessing. One time, True Father said, even if you just have to put one drop of holy wine and then even force open the mouth para lang mabigyan sila ng holy wine, you need to do it. This is how serious our true parents are in blessing all humanity. So we have to remind again ourselves that blessing means rebirth. It is the only way to remove original sin and bring about eternal salvation, both physical and spiritual salvation. And we need to understand that every time we think about the kingdom of heaven begins from the blessing. It begins from realizing and reclaiming back the lost lineage. So that's why when Jesus Christ came 2,000 years ago, and when true parents came this time, the purpose of their coming is to save people through the blessing. This is Messiah's main mission. So when Adam and Eve fell, what did they lose? Adam and Eve lost God's words and lost God's lineage. So therefore, when the Messiah comes, when our true parents come, what will be the main mission of our true parents? It is to recover. It is to bring back God's words and to bring back God's lineage. This is the main mission of the Messiah. And then we have to reaffirm again that all of us, all Blessed Central families, all brothers and sisters, need to become victorious heavenly tribal messiahs. Now let's go to the third sign. So you still remember, Moses was given 3 signs. Binigyan po si Moises ng 3 palatandaan upang maniwala sa kanya yung mga tao na siya ay pinadala ng Diyos. So when we think of our mission of building holy community, let us also think these signs that God has given us. So what is the third sign? In Exodus chapter 4, verse 9, but if they do not believe these 2 signs or listen to you, take some of the water from the Nile and pour it on the dry ground. The water you take from the river will become blood on the ground. So this, brothers and sisters, is the third sign, the third miracle. So let us understand further. The third sign, according to the divine principle, God instructed Moses to pour water from the Nile on the ground, and it turned to blood. It turned to blood. The symbolism of the sign lies in water, an inorganic substance being transformed into blood, the substance of life. So the third sign, the third miracle, Moses, the water that he got from the river, when he poured it on the ground, it becomes a blood. So from inorganic substance to blood, which is a symbol of life. So during the time of the Messiah, when the Messiah comes, the Messiah need to bring life to fallen humanity, to fallen people deprived of life. And they will become God's children. This is the mission of the Messiah. So we have to understand, based on the divine principle, water is a biblical symbol for the fallen multitudes who have no life in them. Thus, this sign foreshadowed that Jesus and his bride, the Holy Spirit, would come and resurrect fallen humanity, deprived of life, to become the living children of God. Aju? So third sign signifies what? It signifies to gain new life. So the third sign, the third miracle, brothers and sisters, is the miracle of giving life. It is the miracle of witnessing. Aju? So the third sign or the third miracle is the miracle of giving life to people. It is the miracle of witnessing to people. So we can build holy community by becoming a champion of the third miracle, which is giving new life. So we need to have the passion to save people. We need to have a saving heart. Dapat palagi nating isipin, even just one person I can save. Even just one person I can bring back to God. How much God has been waiting for his children. We need to know God's longing heart for his children. So that's why when we testify, when we witness to people, we need to raise up people and approach people with a parental heart. With the heart of a parent. Because, we are representatives of our Heavenly Parent. And we don't know how much sincerity and devotion God has put up on this person so that we can finally meet this person. Isn't it? We don't know the background, the ancestors' background, the history of this person, and how much God put up and carried a lot of jongsong for this person. So we have to witness with a parental heart. Parents are responsible to raise, to protect, and to love their children no matter what. We need to carry the same heart. No matter what, I need to raise up my children. I need to raise up people. I need to protect people. I need to love people in behalf of God. We are doing it not for ourselves, but we are doing it in behalf of God. We are our Heavenly Parent's extension. That's why True Father is talking about becoming a true parent. True parent, what does this mean? It means heart of being a parent. The closeness in a parent-child relationship. Becoming a true teacher. That means to educate people with heart. And to become a true owner. That means taking ownership, taking responsibility in order to save the people. This is building holy community. We cannot rest. Our Heavenly Parents, our true parents could not rest. Always thinking about the 7.7 billion people of this world. So that is why, brothers and sisters, we have to take this challenge. Only life can give birth to life. That is why, before we can witness to people, we ourselves need to be excited with our faith. We need to be excited in order to meet them. Then out of that life, out of that enthusiasm, then we can give life to other people. Blessing is like giving birth. But then after we give birth, as Heavenly Tribal Messiahs, we're doing a lot of blessing. We bless thousands and thousands of couples. But after giving the blessing, it is just like after giving birth. What do? Do we leave the babies to survive alone? No. Witnessing. is actually raising up the children, raising up the babies until they themselves can give birth. This is building the holy community centering on the miracle. The third sign, which talks about giving new life, witnessing. That's why our desire to build a holy community should be based on living the three great miracles. So how can we have the confidence to bring back all of humanity, all of Heavenly Parents' lost sons and daughters back to His bosom? The answer is very clear. We are already given the signs to perform and accomplish. Binigyan na po tayo ng napakaklarong palatandaan na kaya nating gawin in order to bring back all the lost sons and daughters of our Heavenly Parent. Our God, Heavenly Parent, have given us 3 signs. And what are these 3 signs? The first sign is the miracle of God's words, bringing true love, proclaiming and teaching the divine principle, God's words. And what is the second sign? This is the miracle of the blessing, bringing the true lineage, blessing, and fulfilling our mission as heavenly tribal messiahs. And the third sign, this is the miracle of giving life, true life, witnessing. So when we think of this, brothers and sisters, we don't need amazing miracles, something that people will be in awe when they see it, because we've already been doing it. We just need to go back to that fundamental mission given to us by our Heavenly Parents. And what is that? The miracle of God's words, the miracle of the blessing, and the miracle of giving life. All of this we can fulfill through fulfilling our mission as heavenly tribal messiahs. So brothers and sisters, you have all received the blessing of being tribal messiahs. Thus, you must work to fulfill that mission and responsibility until the time that Chonelguk is completed on earth. Tribal messiahship is the greatest of all blessings given to you by true parents. True mother, during the rally, after our true father's Songwa ceremony, mother called on all members, giving them the encouragement, empowering our members around the world. And true mother gave this very important direction, that we are all tribal messiahs, that the mission as tribal messiah is a blessing. True mother said, tribal messiahship is the greatest of all blessings given to you by true parents. Don't you think so? Amazing. Not because we are qualified, brothers and sisters. Not because we are capable, but it is because our true parents took responsibility and paid all indemnity for 6,000 years, indemnifying 6,000 years of history. And based on this victorious foundation of our true parents, we were commissioned to fulfill the role as extension of our true parents by fulfilling our mission as heavenly tribal messiahs. Aju? So just like the laborer, you know the worker at the beginning of my sermon? Just like that worker, the third man who answered, we are building a palace. That should also be our attitude. That should also be our mindset. That we are not only doing HTM mission conditionally, or because, I just want to be registered at the Chonbo 1. No. We are fulfilling our heavenly tribal messiah mission because this is a blessing from heaven. This is a blessing from our true parents. So that is why we really have to become victorious together with our true parents, and we will never stop fulfilling the mission as Heavenly Tribal Messiahs, both on the physical world, blessing our 430 couples, and even fulfilling it in the spiritual world by liberating and blessing our 430 generations. How amazing grace and blessing from heaven. We will never stop until we realize, Chonelguk, until we restore one nation, one people, one sovereignty. Brothers and sisters, we have to march forward without pausing. This is, again, in that speech of True Mother, when she was encouraging all the members after everyone was so sad because of the passing of our true father. After 40 days after the Songwa ceremony of True Father, Mother rallied all our members, and she said, True Father in the spirit world is always with us. He exists without corporeal form, but He will never leave our sides even for a moment. What do you think He desires from us at this time? It is to march forward without pausing. God's providence must continue until all people are centered on true parents and a culture of heart overflowing with love and peace takes root, establishing a new order. This is the new order, or maybe we can say the new normal after this COVID-19 pandemic. Our true mother, even in the midst of this global pandemic, have proclaimed the advent and the beginning of the Heavenly Parents' holy community. But we have to understand, brothers and sisters, the Heavenly Parents' holy community is nothing if we don't center our lives on our Heavenly Parents. All people should recognize that God is our eternal parent and we are God's eternal sons and daughters. Aju, no one can break this relationship. This parent-child relationship is unbreakable. And once we reaffirm this relationship of heart with our Heavenly Parent and us, and this is actually the power that can expand the holy community centering on our Heavenly Parents. So the holy community is my responsibility. The holy community should start from myself. I need to invite God and make holy community in my heart. I need to invite God and make heavenly holy community in my family. I need to invite Heavenly Parent. Please come back home. For 6,000 years, God has been longing to dwell in His home in people's hearts. So let us build this holy community in myself, in my family, in my tribe, in my society, in my nation, and in the world. We should not forget that the Heavenly Parents' holy community that we are building together should be anchored on the world of God's sorrowful heart. Then we will always have the motivation to move forward. So, brothers and sisters, true parents have already given us everything to move forward. Let me read from True Mother's message given on May 8, 2020. She said, if each of you who has the ability of dealing with 100 people and make effort, and this 100 people can in turn deal with 1,000 people, then it will be possible. I have given you everything you need to move forward. My dear brothers and sisters, our beloved True Mother already proclaimed the second 7-year course until the year 2027. Already our beloved True Mother opened the era of the Heavenly Parents' holy community. I truly believe that many miracles will happen. All of you, my dear brothers and sisters, have the ability to become miracle workers. How fortunate we are that we are living together with our true mother on this earth, as our true parents are carrying out the final stage of substantial chonilguk. We have to be serious. This opportunity will never be repeated in history. This opportunity will never come again. We should never miss this opportunity given to us. Aju, as true mother said, if each of you who has the ability of dealing with 100 people, who are these 100 people? This is actually in alignment with our mission as Heavenly Tribal Messiahs. When we raise up our 43 couples to become core members, to become sub-leaders, to become HTM coordinators, this represents the 100 people who will take care of the 1,000 people. 1,000 people. This is actually our 430 couples. Aju, very clear. True Mother said, I have given you everything. You need to move forward. So, let us raise high Heavenly Parents' flag. Our beloved True Mother has given us the marching order. In the Mother of Peace, in our True Mother's memoir, page 359, she said, 100 years ago, for the liberation of her homeland, my maternal grandmother waved the Korean flag that she had hidden in her bosom. Now, for the liberation of our global family's homeland, we must raise the Heavenly Parents' flag that we have hidden in our bosom. Just like her, we must passionately live for God's kingdom of Chonilguk. Now, our Heavenly Parents' Holy Community has opened up the springtime in God's providence. Let us truly invest everything and raise high our Heavenly Parents' flag with greater resolve than ever before. Aju? So my dear brothers and sisters, how much our Heavenly Parent is depending on us. How much God has depended on True Father and True Mother. Could you feel the heavy burden on True Mother's shoulder right now? So as I end, we have to feel True Mother is depending on us to make Heavenly Parents' Holy Community blossom like sunflowers who always follow Heavenly Parents no matter what. Absolutely, we have to fulfill our responsibility together. God is begging us. God is telling us, I am depending on you. My dear sons and daughters, you are the ones who understand my will. I am depending on you. We have to be responsible for God's liberation and for humankind's liberation. Aju. Thank you very much. God bless you and your family. Kamsahamnida. Please join me in a prayer. Sarangasinan hanal pumanim, chanjin champumanim. Our most beloved Heavenly Parent and our victorious true parents of heaven, earth, and humankind. We are indeed very grateful for your unconditional love. You are continuously pouring out your love for all your children. That no matter what happened, you never abandon us. You are always there for us. You are always investing unconditionally your love for all of us. But we are the ones who have separated from you. How much we have caused pain in your heart. Time and time again, we have driven nails in your heart. And so, Heavenly Parents, when we think of this great mission that we have to accomplish, we know that this is a blessing given to us, being able to live together with our beloved true parents, being able to fulfill our mission while we are alive on this earth, and fulfill this while our true parents, while our true mother is on this earth. When our true mother have proclaimed the Holy Community, we could understand that this is the community wherein you, our Heavenly Parents, can come down, and finally you will dwell with your children. Finally, you will dwell with your people. Please, Heavenly Parents, as we understand that until this time, the whole world is still ignorant of your heart. The world is still under the bondage of sin, still under satanic realm. But we are called to become responsible. We are the extensions of our true parents. We are given the grace to fulfill our mission as heavenly tribal messiahs so that we can reach out to your children. So that even one by one, we can bring the families back to you. We can bring your lost sons and daughters to you. Heavenly Parents, this is our responsibility, and we understand that we need to fulfill this with greater seriousness. Just like Moses, we know that you are always with us. We know that you are even one step ahead of us, so that when we go out there, when we testify about you, when we testify about your words, when we bring the blessing, when we bring new life to people, it is you who already have prepared the environment for us. So it is only now our responsibility how we can advance forward, how we can step forward and claim this responsibility. In front of heaven, we know that all the absolute good spirits, all our ancestors are working, cooperating together with us. And already our true parents are victorious. They already have victoriously indemnified 6,000 years of history. So all we need to do is really, with all our sincerity, inherit this victorious foundation of our true parents and claim victory, so that finally your holy community can descend and can settle down on this earth. Thank you so much for continuously guiding us. Thank you so much for your protection. Thank you so much for continuously trusting us and calling upon us. With all our hearts of gratitude, we would like to offer together this prayer. I report this in the name of Julius and Ayako Malikdam Central Blessed Family. Aju.
Thank you very much for that heartwarming and very inspiring message, Dr. Malikdem. Thank you for reminding us once again of our responsibility to work together as one family and be able to raise Heavenly Parents' flag. Brothers and sisters, are you all inspired? Let us become people whom God and true parents could rely on to. Let us do our best and fulfill our filial duties for Heavenly Parent and true parents. At this juncture, let us all sing song number 10, My Offering.
Come to know, Father, how your heart is filled with tears, for your author stands and waits for an offering never made. He cries through all the ages, for still no offering comes. Our Father cries in loneliness, for he cannot share his heart. Now I have come to know, I truly Father, now I know your blessed grace. For you raised me from the darkness and gave to me new life. I live and stand before you, but now you cry again. My Father has to say to me, go and die now in my place. Now pledging I will go, determined I will go. Father, now I'm changing to your way. For no other will I follow, but go my Father's way. Upon your waiting altar, I kneel without a word. My life shall be the sacrifice I will faithfully obey.
For our offertory prayer, may I call on the Education Department Head of the Blessed Family Department, Dr. Randy Ame.
Please join my prayer. Our most beloved Heavenly Parents, victorious true parents of heaven, earth, and humankind, we are so grateful and thankful for this opportunity and for this chance that you have gathered us together as one family to commemorate your presence, most especially in this heavenly new normal that we have right now. And as we offer everything that we have for the past week, I pray, Father, that this could be a way for us for you to feel our presence as your children, and for you to experience your family together with our brothers and sisters who are attending online, who are attending their respective homes, that they may be reached out by your love, by your heart, and they can offer whatever things that they have done, most especially in relating with our brothers and sisters, and most especially in dealing with and also in overcoming the pandemic that we're going on right now. So Father in heaven, we are so grateful and thankful. And as we have this family fellowship, virtual family fellowship, I pray, Father, that we could offer everything that we have from the deepest part of our heart, most especially our utmost sincerity and commitment to become part of our devotion and determination to bring victory for you and for our true parents. So Father in heaven, with anything that we have gathered for today, I pray, Father, that this could be an enough representative, or this could be enough to represent all our brothers and sisters who are connecting virtually in their respective homes. And we are so grateful and thankful for this chance and opportunity that once again we could be connected unto you on this Sunday. Thank you, and would like to offer everything in our name, Randy, Ria, Ame, blessed and our family. Jew.
Dear blessed families and members, let us all stand for our unison prayer. Thank you so much, dear blessed families and members, for being with us today. We hope and pray that we could all substantialize the inspiration that we got this Sunday. Let us give our best and be victorious for Heavenly Parent and true parents. To conclude this program, let us all sing song number 33, By the Spring of Life.
We're marching to the blessed land of Canaan with delight. We're leaving all our heavy burdens here. At last we are released and free from being slaves to sin. We're coming to the blessed spring of life. Coming to the spring where living water flows. In glory we'll be living evermore. Going to the land where freely flows the spring. In glory we'll be living evermore. Oh, guide us with your fellows, Lord of fire and of cloud. Oh, guide us close to follow with our lives. The moment that we cross the Jordan River is at hand. We're coming to the blessed spring of life. Coming to the spring where living water flows. In glory we'll be living evermore. Going to the land where freely flows the spring. In glory we'll be living evermore. Our thirsting hearts receive the Jordan manna from above. Your precious food will always be our strength. So if the future finds us lacking, we will not despair. We're coming to the blessed spring of life. Coming to the spring where living water flows. In glory we'll be living evermore. Going to the land where freely flows the spring. In glory we'll be living evermore.
Once again, we would like to express our heartfelt thanks to everyone who tuned in with us in this live online Sunday service. This is Celine Louise de Apera, reminding you to stay safe and be healthy always. See you next Sunday.